Hey, everybody, John Harris back here with you with my pal Billy Smith on From the Cheap Seats, pal. And we're going to get ready to roll into some sports stuff. We were talking a little off camera. We're going to get ready to do our weekly football picks pretty soon. We're going to go through today the AFC divisions and our picks and any news we can think of as we go and impart a little wisdom on y'all. Just remember, folks, we either match Vegas or exceed Vegas every season that we've been doing this. So we're not just talking out of our jackasses. We're pretty knowledgeable, and just as background, we do kind of two different methods. Billy uses numbers and analytics. I usually go by an eye test, and at the end of the year, we usually end up very close. One of us, usually Bill, starts out way ahead, and then eventually I nip and pick away at it. And by the end of the season, we're really close. If we're not tied, we're one or two games apart at the most. So you'll win money with either one of us if you want to bank on us, and we're all for that, because even if you do it for fun, which is mostly me, but I might venture into the wagering a little bit this year too. We'll see. Bill, just a couple sports related things. One, Shohei Ohtani is going to have Tommy John surgery probably at the end of the season. It wouldn't surprise me if it's sooner once they figure out that they're out of it. But then it's curious whether he'll sign with the Angels. That Tommy John surgery, I'm sure, has hurt his potential contract status, because now who knows if he's ever going to pitch again and how long it'll be before he does. I think he went from maybe the $600 man to the $600 million man to the $300 million range, man. Yeah. I think it hurt him bad.
That's terrible, and I don't know how many other teams will take a chance. So he might still be an Angel.
Yeah, he may still be an Angel. But if he's smart, I say he signs a 2-year, big one, but it won't be 300 mil, obviously. Sign a 2-year, see if your arm comes back, business wise. Maybe stay with the Angels for those 2 years and see what happens. And if your arm comes back as healthy as it was, then go with it. But he's already had one Tommy John, so it's going to be interesting to see. But he can still hit. He's still hitting. Still hitting. You got a couple guys in the National League that are tearing it up. You got Mookie Betts is on fire for the Dodgers right now. Ronald Acuna Jr. has been tearing it up all season for Atlanta.
Oh yeah, that Atlanta team with Olsen and Ozuna and Riley,
and then Olsen's just a monster. And their pitching's coming around again too. Strider's back in there throwing well, so I think Atlanta might end up being the team to beat, pal. But I think the Dodgers might give them a run. Phillies are in the hunt, but my feeling is their pitching might fall short. But boy, their bats are coming alive. Even the other day when they lost, it was like 10-8, and it was only because Kimbrel blew a save. And I'm okay with that, because Kimbrel has done way better than they expected all season long. But every once in a while, closer's going to have a bad day. But I mean, Harper's coming around now. Trey Turner's coming around. Who thought that Philly fans being nice to somebody would work? First off, who thought they'd be nice to somebody, on their own? And second of all, who thought it would work? Man, he turned it around quick after that. Yeah. But that might be one of them deals where he was trying too hard and he thought the fans were going to get on him. They turned around. Somebody had the great idea doing reverse psychology, and he felt the support, relaxed, I guess, and has been tearing it up ever since.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you know what?
Probably getting their money's worth.
Yep, and they needed that extra bat. That's like a found bat you already had. And I give Dave Dombrowski some credit. Outside of getting Lorenzen, he really didn't give up the farm to get stuff, which he's been known to do in the past. I think he's realizing, you know what, we get Hoskins back next year. Nobody else out there, to me, that was for trade would have really helped them much. Some people were saying the other day when the Angels dropped some guys like Renfroe and stuff, the Phillies should have jumped on them. But I'm like, like Hunter Renfrow would be the best of the bunch. And I'm like, where do you play him? You've got
Yeah,
nowhere.
well, it didn't matter ananyway because they didn't get a chance to get to him anyways.
No, no. But my thought is, even if they
Cleveland
did,
ended up picking up 3 of them.
yeah, yeah. But my thought of it is, Giolito looks awful right now. There's something wrong with him, whether it's just mental or what. But he looks bad. And Renfro would have been the other one that was decent. Matt Moore they've already had, and he was a bum when they had him there. So,
Mhm.
so Renfro to me would have been the only option. But like I said, where do you play him? You got really nowhere to play him, even the rest of the season. You can't put him in for Castellanos and Wright unless you make Castellanos the DH.
I guess
And
you could probably just rotate them, give them a day off, each one
maybe,
of them a
yeah,
day
you might be
off.
able to use him as a utility guy or something. But I don't know. I just don't. I think it was okay not to pick him up. I really do, especially right now the way they're playing. I mean, I wouldn't mess too much with what they got.
Yeah.
But all that being said, to me, that kind of wraps up baseball for right now. We can go back into it in depth as it gets a little closer to October, maybe the end of September, see where people land. But right now, let's
Oh,
focus
wait a
on.
minute. Hold on. Don't forget
Okay.
about my team who's in first place.
Oh
Now,
no, that's
everybody
you're right.
gonna
I'll
be,
give you credit. The Baltimore
they picked
Orioles
them last, and here they are in
have
first.
been playing their asses off all season long. They've got, and the big thing about it, Bill, is their talent is young.
Young, yeah.
If they can keep some of these guys around for 2 or 3 or 4 more years, they're going to be a good team for a long time. And they're one of the teams that, oh no, beat up on the Yankees right now. That breaks my heart.
I love
Don't get
that.
me
Yeah.
wrong, my team's not doing great. The Red Sox, they're above 500 at least, and the Yankees are not last place in the division. You're right, Bill. The Orioles are playing great baseball all season long too. They've been consistent. It's not just a winning streak here and a winning streak. They've been consistent, and I really love the way they play. Very fundamental, sound baseball.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get another starter, but I mean,
Yeah,
they got a great bullpen and
yeah. I
the
think in the
starters.
off season, if you can get yourself a starter, it doesn't have to be, a Verlander or a Scherzer in his prime. It could
Right.
be somebody that's going to eat up some innings. And how about
Mhm.
Kyle Gibson for them?
Yeah,
He's having a great season. Who knew that was going to happen? So I mean,
I didn't.
no, I didn't. I thought when you signed him, it's like there's a guy might eat up some innings, and if he has a good season, he'll be 2 games below 500.
Mhm.
He's playing great. He's pitching well. So, um, yeah, you're right. So congratulations to you for following him for so long. And now you're actually hopefully they'll continue on this trend and they won't dump all these guys. But I don't think they will. I think they're getting a taste of what success is. I think they may stick
Yeah.
around with it.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the owner and if they pay
On
the
the owner
guys.
and on salaries, if you get a guy or two that wants to go outrageous, then he'll dump the whole team. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now let's go to what we're here for today, which is some NFL football getting ready to start. Today we're going to discuss the AFC East, where we think they're going to stand, any little news tidbits in there. And of course, like we said, you're going to see this posted on YouTube, Facebook, streaming radio, and all the places you can get your podcasts. So if you have any comments on that, you can email us at thepublicjohn@outlook.com or send me a message on that same site on Facebook at the Public John, or leave comments on the YouTube video. And we will get back to you if you have questions and let us know from there. Before we get started, Bill, I want to go ahead and mention our pal and our buddy, our sponsor, Dennis and Graldi from Vineland Realty Corporation in Vineland, New Jersey. You can reach them at 856-690-9482 for any real estate and residential property, business property needs. Whether you have a business, whether you have a residential property you want to lease out, or whether you want to rent a property or you want to sell one. Dennis and those crew handle all the realty needs you may have, and that's Vineland Realty Corporation. They're located 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. And again, their number 856-690 9482. We thank Dennis and the crew down there. And go see them if you're in the area. And even if they can't help you, they have resources and they'll be able to find a resource that can help you. So that's Vineland Realty Corporation. And make sure you check them guys out. We thank Dennis for sponsoring all our Public John Media shows, and including this one. So, and Dennis likes football, so you never know. We may get a comment or two or a question or two from Dennis. We'll see. So today we're going to look at the AFC, and we're going to look at all 4 of the divisions. Bill and I will pick where we think they're going to stand. Let's look at the East first, Bill. To me, flying under the radar is last year's division champs, the Buffalo Bills. I think they're doing a pretty good job of flying under the radar and letting the Jets get all the publicity.
Oh, the hype, them in Miami, all the hype.
Yeah, Miami's getting some hype, but you're right. So it's probably, yeah, if you go hype, it should be Jets, Miami, Buffalo, New England.
Yeah.
But we're not hype. We're
Not on hype.
results based. I'm a kind of a results based guy. And until you prove it wrong, which for years I went with New England, though I despised them, I still had to pick New England until somebody knocked them off their perch for years. Well, now, last 2-3 years, I'm sticking with Buffalo. I think they're going to be number 1, especially since they re-signed Cook, and now him and Jared Allen are getting along great, and everything seems to be rosy in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, until you can knock them off, and Josh Allen is still.
Guys,
I think you might see him leapfrog. I think you might see him leapfrog Mahomes this year as the top QB. I mean, they're both 1-2, but he's just got better weapons.
He does have better weapons. Mahomes has been without a top-notch receiver for the last couple of years. I think they thought Juju Smith-Schuster would be the guy, but he was okay, but he wasn't what they were hoping, I don't think. The only team that a lot of people think could knock them off, and some are picking them for a possible Super Bowl run, I think it's way too early for that, is the New York Jets. Signing Aaron Rodgers, of course, which is where he wanted to go. He seems like a reborn, brand new man in New York. He goes out on the town, he associates with people, he's hobnobbing socially. He says all the right things. He's doing all the right things. Everybody's like, when they see him in practice, oh, he's great. Of course, he's great. He's been a great quarterback for years. But going to be interesting. The one thing I will say, though, is the Jets have a great defense. So if they have a decent improvement on the offense, it could be a good year for them. But like we said, to me, until they knock off Buffalo, they're number 2. Will they make the playoffs? I think so. I think they'll be a wild card, but I don't see.
That's possible. I just look at Aaron Rodgers. He's not in his prime no more. So I mean, he's on the decline. So I don't know. And I haven't watched any of the episodes of Hard Knocks, but they're still saying they're saying he's a real jerk. The coaches and the players around him are like walking on eggshells with him. Just the way his attitude. So I don't. Yeah. So
I haven't seen that, but
I haven't seen it, so I don't know how true that is.
That's the first I've heard that, but I haven't seen any of the Hard Knocks episodes. And in all honesty, they know they're there, so I don't think it's as real as everybody thinks. It's like, oh, this is interesting on Hard Knocks. Yeah, well, watch Survivor and Big Brother too. It's all.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say they got to get it for ratings anyway. So
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. Then we got Miami. I'm thinking Miami will fit. I'm reading them off kind of in the way I think they're going to win. They're going to hold their spots in the division. I think it'll be Miami next. Because Tua looks okay. The only thing that could change that is if Tua gets hurt again. I think if Tua is hurt again, if it's a concussion, I would be surprised if he ever plays again. He should, to me, he shouldn't. No player, if they have that many in a short amount of time, or they shouldn't. But it's not our body, it's not our lives. But I just hope for his sake that he stays healthy. has a good season. If so, I think Miami has a shot at the playoffs. I think they'll finish third in the division. But they've got a couple weapons, but I mean, you got Tyreek Hill, that's a weapon right there. But you got to bet on him not getting hurt, and he's not a big guy either. So I mean, there's a lot of
And
ifs. There is in the NFL too.
they got Jalen Waddle, who's a nice
True,
slot
nice
receiver.
receiver.
Um,
Tight end was it Gardecki?
uh, yes, yes.
Good tight end, and they got a couple running backs. I saw Jeff Wilson's hurt.
Wilson's hurt. So, I mean, I think that's going to be the downfall of that team is the running back and, of course, the health of Tua. Yeah.
To it. I think that's important. Yep. Then New England, who dumped both their backups, Brady, what's his name, Zappy, he gone.
Yeah, he got zapped.
He got snapped. He got a start last year, and he got started on the bus this year. Get out. And somebody else, Malik Williams, I think they said his name is gone. So they're handing it to Mac Jones. Here you go, pal. Here's your chance. To me, for Mac Jones.
And they picked up Juju Smith-Schuster. So
Yeah.
who's an improvement over what they had
over
the
what they
last
had.
5 years,
They
I
do
guess.
have a real offensive coordinator now too, because Bill O'Brien went back there rather than what they tried to do last year, which was just abominable. It was awful. Have a defensive guy go, oh yeah, we can run that. Get the hell out of it. Not even be an offensive coordinator, and who was calling the plays? Nobody. It was just a mess. But I'm thinking Belichick kind of knew what he was doing with that. Yeah, you never want to say he wasn't planning something. So could be that he knew it was a lost season, and let's see what we can do from here down the road and see if somebody's available next year. So,
but I kind of agree with everything. The only thing I would say is you never know what Rodgers being in New York. You just never know if that could go south quick.
Yeah. Oh no, you're right about that. It could go south quick. And the other part about that is too, let's face it, he gets hurt. Where are they at? You're back to Zach Wilson. He's the number 2. So, that's true. But then again, you got the Tua part getting hurt too.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to agree with you with the Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots.
Okay. So I'm just going to put you right next to that. Unanimous. Okay. In the North, top 2 are going to be tough. I really do believe. Depends on Burrow's health. Now, he is supposedly scheduled to start week 1, but you hope he stays healthy. But I'm going to say that he does stay healthy or healthy enough, and that Cincinnati will win the North. Baltimore could take them because Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson signed and happy. And they went out and signed Odell Beckham. And they had 2 decent running backs that got hurt last year, and I believe they're both back and healthy. Gus Edwards, I can't remember who else it was, but somebody decent. Memory's fading fast, but I still think Cincinnati has a little better defense than Baltimore. And I think and Joe Burrow, different type. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, both young. They're going to be around a long time, as long as they don't get beat up or too hurt. Baltimore could overtake them if Jackson's healthy. I think OBJ, if he's 3/4 of what he used to be, is still a big threat. So we'll wait and see. I think the difference there is Baltimore's defense isn't great, but Cincinnati's offensive line is terrible. I mean, Burrow takes pretty close to the most hits every year. They got to, hopefully they shored that up, and we'll wait and see. But I think they signed Orlando Brown, which is a big signing for their offensive line.
They got the best 1-2 receivers and Jamar Chase and
T. Higgins.
And then Tyler Boyd is a third one. So
Tyler Boyd's a slouch, right? Yeah. So that could be pretty good. So then I would go Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, who I think is going to improve. everybody's talking about George Pickens, like, make sure you draft him in your fantasy league, make sure of this. And this might be his breakout season because he had a few good games last year. I think you got to worry that Kenny Pickett doesn't get hurt. But I think they could be pretty good as well. They're going to improve, I think, a game or two, but I don't know. I don't think enough. Then there's Cleveland. To me, Cleveland still got to prove they can improve. I don't see it unless Deshaun Watson is getting massages like he used to, something to make him feel like the old days. I don't see him being able to carry that team by himself. They lost what's his name? Kareem Hunt's not there anymore. I don't know if he signed anywhere, but I know he's not in Cleveland. He was
Yeah, he's still a free agent.
he's still a free agent, right? So he could end up back there, but I don't know. I just don't see it. They got some guys, but every NFL team has some guys. But to me, it's going to be Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland has much offense.
I'm going to go Cincinnati, so we'll agree that. But
Right?
I have a hunch. I'm going Cleveland second. They got
Cleveland
a they got a top five offensive line. Um,
yeah. Okay.
Chubb's gonna run the ball.
Chubb, I will say Chubb is a great back. I like him. I
Um,
really do.
and then Amari Cooper's not no slouch.
No, he's
So
not the Amari Cooper of the old Dallas days, but he can still get open, especially in the slot for you.
so I'm gonna go with the total opposite of you. I'm gonna take Cleveland second,
Woo! Woo!
Baltimore third, and the Steelers.
Steelers fourth.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm taking, like we said, uh, I'm going Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Okay. In the South.
Because even with Baltimore, I'm not sold on Jamar Jackson either. Lamar
Really?
Jackson coming back.
Yeah, the only thing I might not be
Yeah,
sold on with him is his health.
right.
He sat out way toward the end of the season, and supposedly that leg was not great. So we'll see what happens. I haven't seen or heard anything in the preseason. I don't even know if they played him in the preseason.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right, in the South. Oh man, this is not the way I pick them because this is just this one's more alphabetical, I think. Indy, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee. I can tell you now, I'm gonna go Jacksonville, Tennessee, and I think Houston and Indy. Without Jonathan Taylor, I think Indy's in trouble. Rookie quarterback. They might have a couple receivers, but I hate to say it, but I really think Indy's in trouble. I think the Jonathan Taylor thing is going to be a huge distraction for them all season, for as long as he's out.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with my teams with these shitty owners, but
Man, you ain't kidding.
it's this is another cheapskate guy.
And you got a new coach and a new offensive coordinator with a new quarterback, all one shot.
Yeah,
And the new quarterback's a rookie. So, and the rookie supposedly doesn't have great accuracy, but he's mobile, supposedly can make big plays. So we'll see. But I think Doug Peterson's doing a great job in Jacksonville. This will be his second year, and they already made strides last year. I think he's taught Trevor Lawrence how to be a really good quarterback. And they have weapons that he used similar to how he did in Philly. He doesn't overuse his running backs, and similar to his and Andy Reid's old offense, running, the throw to screen passes and things out of the backfield to keep it off, and they have a decent defense. So I think Jacksonville could win the division. I really do.
I think they win it easily. I think I could see them winning 11, 12 games, and
Yeah.
everybody else around 500. I mean, 500 or below.
Games, 10 games at the most. Yeah. Tennessee might show us something, but other than that, I don't see it. And if Tannehill gets hurt again, they're done. Yeah, they're toast. Then you got Houston, kind of doing the right things, but it's going to take a while. They're definitely into rebuild mode. And then, like we said, I think Indy's blowing up from inside out. I think they're imploding. You're right. Between your owner, I mean, it was sad. It wouldn't surprise me if Chris Ballard's fired soon because I don't know if you saw his press conference yesterday.
Yeah, he came out and said,
It sucks. It sucks for the fans. It sucks for the team. It sucks for the players. It sucks for Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he just came out and said it. He's right. But with Irsay, I mean, Irsay could suddenly blame it on him if they go south quick.
yeah,
He might not even last the full season. And then you really got problems if you're Indy, if you get rid of your GM halfway through the season.
yeah. Well, I think the biggest problem is the NFL and the players union because the running backs take a beating and they get paid just about
And
as
they get
least
paid
as
squat.
anybody on the team.
Everybody uses them for that rookie contract, which is 4 years with an option for the team for the fifth. After that 4 or 5 years, most running backs are so beat up that their production goes down because they're so overused.
Right.
Because that is the position that on offense, it's going to take the most beating. I mean, even quarterbacks can get rid of the ball. But a running back, let's face it, you give a running back a ball to fake and he's going to get hit on a play action. He's going to get hit, or he's got a block, or he gets tackled when he runs the ball. So, the running back to me is one of the positions that takes the most beating on the field, especially on offense. And
I mean, if you could give a quarterback 30 million a year, why can't you give a running back 10 million a year? I mean, I don't understand.
Well, some of them have been offered 10 and won't take that, but 12 or 13, I say give them 13, 14. You'll have running backs take that, and they want to win. It's not like they're going to break the bank. They want to win too. So, I think part of it's the NFL, and that's why you see guys move around. I mean, Philly didn't sign Miles Sanders. His rookie contract was up after 4 years. So now they have Swift and Penny. Two good backs. And I think I like them, but I especially Swift. I really like Swift. But what are they going to do? I mean, Swift may be under his rookie contract still. Is he going to be done after a year or two? You're going to have to he's going to have to show something. And
both of them are injury prone, so then you're going to be playing for people that are not playing. So I mean,
exactly. So, but I think Indy's in trouble, and you're right. The running back situation's poor, but as far as the NFL and even the Players Association needs to stick their guns. It's bad when there was talk that the running backs were thinking of having their own union because their union doesn't back them up enough. And I could, the worst part about that is, comparatively speaking, they got a hell of a point. I think they make a great point. But I'm going Jacksonville, Tennessee, Houston, and Indy in that order.
And I'll just switch the bottom two. I'll go Indy and then Houston. It's
Indy.
going to be the battle of the rookie quarterbacks, and we'll see what happens.
All right. So we got Bill's going to go Jackson, Tennessee.
I mean, I hope Houston finishes higher than them, so they get a higher pick in Indy.
So Indy can get the better pick, right? Last but not least, the AFC West. Of course, Kansas City, LA, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs are going to miss Chris Jones terribly on the defensive line if they don't figure out a way to get him into camp or get him on the roster. And it doesn't look like it right now. they're pretty far apart contract wise. He wants an extension, and they're willing to work with him, but I think the numbers are far apart. Um, so I will say that's going to bring them closer to the overall pack. But I think in the division, the only real threat to them is the Chargers. I don't think Denver's a threat, at least not yet. And the Raiders, they got Jimmy G, and that's it. You know, they got some weapons. Don't get a couple weapons. I mean, you got Josh Jacobs back in camp. That's good.
Yeah, you got Devontae Adams.
And you got Devontae Adams, who's not real happy now because he was trying to go to the Jets actually at one point, and Raiders were like, no, we're not trading him. No. So I think
Which kind of surprises me because you figure, if you're rebuilding, you might as well get what you can for Adams.
yeah, but I think they feel they're closer than a lot of other people think. I think they like their signing of Jimmy G, which
Mhm.
isn't bad if you can keep him healthy. The
Right.
problem with Garoppolo is his health. You got to keep him healthy. Um, so if they did a little work on the O line, you got a good running back. You got a great running back. Like you said, Adams, good receiver. Waller, stay there, the tight end.
No, no, he's with the Giants.
He's with the Giants now, right? So yeah, that kind of hurts him. Because he's a good tight end. So they're going to need to come up with some stuff to help out the defense is decent, but it's not great.
Right.
And that's what hurts them. So um Denver, Sean Payton's going in there, kind of cleaning house, and I think you got to give him a year to clean house. To be able
Yeah.
to do what he needs. I mean, he's done some nice things. Plus, you got to give Russell, I think, at least half a season to a season to get used to Sean Payton's offense. So they do have a couple decent receivers, but I think they could use some help in the running game. And Wilson was running around for his life last year. Uh,
Yeah.
so they probably need some more protection. But part of that's going to happen with Sean Payton's offense because his is a quick, release the ball quick kind of thing. And I bet you Drew Brees will swear by it. So he's in the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame because of that. So um,
And Denver's defense ain't as good as it used to be. So that's
no, no, it's not as good as the offense. So uh, then you got the Chargers. And you gotta like Herbert.
got
Um,
Herbert. They got a new offense coordinator in Kellen Moore.
yep, yeah,
So
and that could go pretty well. Um,
they got Eckler.
they'll have Eckler.
They're well rounded. They're pretty
Yeah,
well rounded.
yeah, and if Bosa's healthy, their defense is going to be pretty good too. Um, but for some reason, they can never get over the hump. They'll start out ball of fire sometimes, or they fall way behind and then have a surge the second half of the season and come up just short of making the playoff. Um, I think they could make the playoffs this year. I think, and then you look at the Chiefs. I think they're going to miss Chris Jones quite a bit. So the defense isn't going to be great. But when you got that offense, does it have to be great? Now, I will say, same as last year, I don't know if the Chiefs have that explosive offensive guy. They are betting on the kid James, who they picked up from the Giants last year, to have a full season of productivity, but he gets injured.
Right.
You still got Kelsey, and Pacheco looks great. So you still have some guys, and you got Mahomes. I mean,
Yeah.
you got Mahomes. As long as you got Mahomes, as far as I'm concerned, you got
Yeah.
to. So
I agree.
my picks in that division would be Kansas City, the Chargers, Denver, then the Raiders. Wouldn't surprise me though if it goes Kansas City, Chargers, Raiders, Denver. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I just want to play some fun here.
Okay, go for it, buddy.
And I think LA's going to win the division, and they'll definitely be in the playoffs.
Ooh, so
I
Bill's
usually, I'm usually like you. If you can't until the top seed, top one gets knocked down a few.
right.
But I'm going to go against that in this division. I'm going to go with LA. I kind of like
Okay.
they got
So you're
going
going
on there.
Chargers, then who? KC?
Chargers, KC, Denver, and the Raiders.
Okay. Woo. And the Raiders.
I just think I think
Buddy.
I think defenses are gonna key on Kelsey and make the other unknowns beat you.
Yeah, it could happen. I could see that. So
And if they don't, I don't know what these coaches do because if I see it, I'm like,
yeah, we're sitting on our couch seeing it, and
yeah,
it's obvious too. It's not like
key
it's
on their top weapon. I don't understand.
yeah, I don't understand it either. So okay, so now playoffs. Sound like your old coach. Playoffs? Playoffs?
We haven't even started.
You're talking playoffs? Well, I think Buffalo by winning the division will be one of them.
Yes,
I think Cincinnati by winning their division will be one of them.
correct.
Let me see. In the South, I think we both took Jacksonville. I think that'll be one of them. And in the West, you're really going Chargers. I'm going KC.
Mhm.
They're the division winners. Now, what do we got? 3 wild cards from each?
Three wild cards.
Okay.
I'll go Kansas City as my first.
Wild card 1. Bill says Kansas City. Wild card 1. I'm going to go with Baltimore. All right. Wild card 2.
Wild card two, I'm gonna go with ugh, uh, we're gonna go with the Jets, I guess. Not confident with that, but
You're not, huh? I am. Mine to me, it was close between Baltimore and the Jets, but I'm taking the Jets as 2, Baltimore 1. And the last wild card.
the
This
last wild card.
would be
This
tough.
is another coin flip, and it's gonna be between Miami and Cleveland. Um, but I think I'm gonna go Cleveland here, just on a
Okay.
hunch.
I It's going to come down to me for Miami and Pittsburgh. And I think I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
Wow,
So, which means now what rank do we do the division ones in? If we think Buffalo is the best one, then they'll get the first bye.
correct.
Um, and I'm leaning in that direction as well. So I think Buffalo would be 1. Uh, I think Cincinnati 2, probably. I don't know, but
I think Cincinnati too.
then it's a matter of we both took Jacksonville. Would you think Jacksonville would be 3 and the Chargers 4, or do you want to reverse that?
I think Jacksonville three because I mean they can win 6 games in their division. So I mean, I
Yeah. Okay. Which means you're going to take the Chargers.
and I know they're going to win the division where Kansas
Yeah.
City or LA could
Yeah.
be a
Well, I'm going to take Kansas City 3, just below Cincinnati, Jacksonville 4. And yeah, part of it's because I root for the Chiefs too. But I don't know. I mean, they're the reigning Super Bowl champs, buddy.
yeah.
You can't drop them too low, baby. You know what I mean? Um, well, then it means Baltimore, the Jets, and Pittsburgh. For me, that's where it'll stay. So it would be Buffalo, Cincinnati, KC, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Jets, Pittsburgh for me.
And yeah, I'll go Kansas City, Jets, Cleveland.
Okay. All right. Could be too early, or we could go all the way with it. Buffalo would get the bye, which means Cincinnati would play Pittsburgh in mine. Cincinnati would play Cleveland in yours. I think either way, Cincinnati wins.
Cincinnati wins.
Yeah. So I think you got, let's go second round, we'll say. It's Buffalo and Cincinnati. Buffalo because of the bye, Cincinnati. Then you got, for me, I would have 1, 2. So then it would be 3. I would have Kansas City playing. Yeah, Kansas City would be playing the Jets. So I would go Kansas City. You would have Jacksonville playing the Jets.
And I go Jacksonville.
Okay. And I think I would too in that case. I really would. Then let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4.
In Kansas City,
In my case, I would have Jacksonville then playing Baltimore. Woo! Woo! I think I would have to go. Wow. Wow. I think that's a tougher game than we think.
Yeah.
I would go just a hunch, and it's only because it's a hunch, is Baltimore, even though I might be rooting for Jacksonville. Just something tells me if they played each other, it'd be Baltimore. You would have, who did we say here?
KC, Cleveland.
KC and Cleveland.
Yeah, KC.
Yeah. All right. All right. And then, of course, it would be Buffalo versus Baltimore for me, Buffalo versus Kansas City for you. Wow.
Ooh.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
I go Buffalo.
Ooh, listen to you.
That
Buffalo.
would be in Buffalo. It would be in Buffalo.
It would be in Buffalo. Correct. At Buffalo, Baltimore. I would again go with Buffalo as well, though I think it could be a lot closer. And then of course Cincinnati, KC for me. Man, man, that's brutal too.
Yeah.
It would be in Cincinnati this time. Wow. I mean, if it all goes according to our pick.
Right.
I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for KC in my heart. But when it comes down to money and heart, unless Chris Jones comes back, I don't see it. I see the defense getting kind of beat up by Joe Burrow. Picks and heart are two different things, and I got to go with Cincinnati there. You would have Cincinnati, Jacksonville.
Ooh, that's a good game too.
Yeah. Which, of
But I
course,
think,
you should expect that, I guess.
yeah, I mean, and since I'm telling you, Jacksonville's going to improve, and they're going to be
Yep. Yep.
offensively just up there with the rest of them, but defensively, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Cincinnati to beat Jackson.
Okay. So when all said and done, we both have Buffalo and Cincinnati playing for the AFC Championship. It would then the key is going to be who had the most wins in their division for the home field advantage. Because it would make a difference here, I think. If it's Buffalo, and we both have Buffalo ranked 1. So the way we have it ranked out for the AFC is that Buffalo would be the home field advantage. In that case, I'm going with Buffalo. I think it could be a great game, but I think it's Buffalo in the AFC. as the
in case
AFC.
Buffalo, if Buffalo doesn't get to 1 seed, I'll go with Cincinnati.
Really? You're going Cincinnati? If Buffalo's the 1 seed, you're going Cincinnati? Because we've got Buffalo as the 1 seed.
Right. Yeah, we got them as a 1 seed, but I'm saying if they're not a 1 seed, I'll pick Cincinnati. And so in that scenario, I'll still go with Cincinnati, even in Buffalo.
Okay, so you're going with Cincinnati either way. Who do you think went? Well, you picked it. Cincinnati's going to the Super Bowl then. And I'm thinking Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl. So there we go. Very similar again, in like we do our game picks, but but we have one or two little differences. But it'll be interesting to see at the end of the season. Next time around, folks, we're going to do the NFC, do it the same way. Of course, any other sports news that comes up. I mean, we've still got James Harden probably not playing in Philly anymore, but he's not been traded yet. So there's all kinds of things there in the NBA. Hockey's got a few guys signed, but as far as our teams, I didn't see my team, Carolina, making any big moves.
Yeah.
I didn't see mine and Billy, my former team and Billy's team, the Flyers, make any great moves. I think the Flyers,
just in the front office they did.
front office, anything else, right? No player stuff really.
Yeah, front office where they got more ex-Flyers, but these ex-Flyers are kind of like the Keith Jones and what's his name?
Was it Lapierre? No.
No.
Danny
Briere, Danny Briere.
Danny Briere.
Briere and Keith Jones. So I kind of like those two guys. I mean,
yeah. And they both played when the Flyers were in their heyday and, tough and hard nosed. So we'll see if they look for those kinds of guys and bring those guys back into the fold. So.
Yeah, and it comes down to the Russian players. That's a big mess. Trying to get the Russians over here to play, and
now that the Russian professional league actually pays their guys, they may not want to come over here as much.
Yeah, I mean, because they got a steal in the draft with the 7th pick.
Yeah, they did.
But it's a risk.
Yeah. Then you got Lionel Messi tearing up the MLS, buddy. Now, last night was their last night or the last game was the first time he didn't score anything, no assist, no goal, and they ended up tied. I don't think they didn't win, but they were tied.
I placed a bet as soon as he signed with Miami to win it all. So, and I'm a Union fan.
They still might. Yeah, you're a Union fan. I'm kind of. If I have to pick a team, I pick the Union. I don't follow it like you do, except I've been following a little more, which is what everybody wants with Messi signing.
Yeah.
And he has given the MLS a shot in the arm like crazy. And he's been very good about saying, hey, these guys are better than most people think. And, he's been very good on the positive PR end of the tour. So I like that.
Even at his age, he's the best player in the world.
There's no doubt he's the best player in the world. He is going to miss 3 games down the stretch because he's got to play for Argentina.
Right.
So he is going to miss 3 games down the stretch, and who knows if the games he comes back, he's hit, like with jet lag or something too. So you don't know. I wouldn't surprise me if they get in the playoffs and get fairly far, but it might be too much this season to overcome because Miami dug themselves so much of a hole before he got there.
Right.
That they need. What they say now, it's down to 10 games, and they need probably 8 wins. But the way he's been playing, it could happen.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet against them. That's right.
No, I wouldn't either. Of course, you got the U.S. Open going on. Venus Williams, 43 years old. She's out already. Caroline Wozniacki, who has been out for 3 years, won a match the other night where she upset the top 20 player and is playing very well. And then you had Coco Gauff, who had to play against somebody that had more stall tactics than I ever saw before. It'd be like if I went out to play Coco Gauff, I would be trying every stall tactic you could think of. And this woman did. and eventually it didn't do her any good. But
Right.
she made it a miserable, and the fans just piled on her when it was over. They just were brutal to this girl. But she had to try something because she probably knew she was going to be out of her league. So
Yeah.
that'll be something to watch too the next week or so, because we're still into it's just getting started as far as the US Open's concerned. Ryder
Mhm.
Cup's coming up. That'll be kind of interesting too. So sports is starting to get there, buddy. It's almost our time of year to start to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of excitement.
Yep, yep, coming up. NFL, NBA is going to crank up soon. Major League
Yeah,
Baseball postseason,
baseball playoff.
pennant
Yeah, yeah.
races, uh, and 92,000 people came to see women's collegiate volleyball in Nebraska 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago. The highest recorded attendance ever for a women's sporting event. They
Wow,
had to have it in the stadium outdoors.
wow. I
92,003.
didn't hear that.
Yep.
Wow.
Take a look. It is the highest rated women's sporting event ever. Nebraska volleyball apparently always draws well.
Mhm.
And they put the PR out there that they were going to play. They played Omaha. It's like the early college football games. You play a Division III school or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Um, so they ended up winning, of course, but they filled the stadium, the Nebraska football stadium, filled it, 92,000 people. Uh, so I'm like, and it was volleyball. Good for them. The highest
Yeah.
rated women's sporting event before was, I think they said it was the women's World Cup match against China the year USA won here in America. But other than that, that was the Brandy Chastain game, was what they said. So, but yep, congratulations to Nebraska women and to women's sports in general for getting that large a crowd out there to come out and watch a volleyball match. That's great. Can you imagine the
Mhm.
person, one volleyball court? Imagine a person all the way in the cheap seat from the cheap
Oh
seats,
yeah,
buddy,
from the cheap seats,
from
baby,
the
and
cheap
get
seats
those
watching
binoculars.
that game. They got them binoculars the other night, they got a big old telescope going, oh, it's a spike. You know, that's great. So, uh, so congratulations to them. The WNBA is starting to take off a little bit. Looks like it'll probably be Vegas and New York, as was predicted before the beginning of the season. I think they're really the best two teams. Uh, so, and I think that'll be interesting to watch. That's a whole different game from the NBA. Yeah, they shoot threes, but they go inside a lot more. And to me, it's kind of faster paced. You don't have a lot of half court offense, some, but even that seems to be a quicker pace sometimes than NBA games. So I like watching women's basketball collegiately and the
Yeah.
WNBA. And I think it's a lot of fun. And I think it's going to come down to Vegas, the Aces and the Liberty is what I think
Mhm.
it's going to come down to.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we have it. That's our from the cheap seats episode. We're kicking it back in, folks. We'll have another one for you in the next few days because we need to go over the NFC. And then we'll have one a couple days after that because Bill and I will start to make our weekly picks. I know
Yes,
you guys
sir.
are looking forward to that because you guys need to make money. Who don't? Uh, and this year I might venture to bet too. I might place a double bet each week and bet on Bill's pick and my. Usually there's only one or two differences anyway during the week. And our weekly picks, a lot of times, we've had a couple times where Bill and I have both said, I'll make this pick because we need to have a difference. We were making
Yeah.
every pick the same, going, oh, let's make this one interesting. Um, but remember, folks, we use two different methods, so it makes it interesting. Bill uses analytics and numbers. I go by what I see. So just know that the first couple weeks, Bill will probably smoke me. But then by a little, we'll be back. I think one year you had a 6-game lead on me after 2 weeks
Yeah.
or something. And
And I start getting stupid at times, and I'm like you said, just to make things interesting.
yep,
And
a couple times to make
eh,
things interesting. You talked
but
yourself
it's
out of
fun. Yeah.
bets.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, I was winning and you were like, son of a. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
Or I'll
happens.
call you or I'll call you Sunday morning to switch the pick and
That's the one that killed me last year. Year
bonk
before
myself.
that got you bad. Yeah. But yeah, or we'll call each other last minute and go, I don't know, this guy seems to be hurt, and I'm gonna change my pick, and then it's not even close. It's like shit. Always stick with your first instinct. Damn it. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Again, thanks to our pal Dennis and Graldi from Vineland Realty Corporation, 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland. We want to thank Dennis once again for sponsoring everything that I do here from the Cheap Seats. And it's awesome that he does that. And we appreciate it. It's 634 East Landis Avenue. Give them a call, 856-690-9482 for all your real estate needs. For my pal Billy Smith, and for you guys out there, for all the staff and everybody here, we'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you soon. Bill and I both have well, we have two different teams. I have Buffalo eventually winning the AFC. Bill has Cincinnati. For that, we will say thank you, guys. We will see you next week when we talk about the NFC right here on the Cheap Seats.
And also thoughts and prayers out to the Florida Peach going through another hurricane.
Yes, yeah, my brother's actually down there. He didn't get hit, but just above him did. Same with Georgia, just below him did, because it was the same hurricane did that path. So, yeah, them and the folks from Hawaii, with the Hawaii
Right, absolutely.
please, if you see a chance to give something to them, to donate, please do, because those folks are all going to be really hurting for quite a while. So, thank you, and thank you guys, because you've been generous for us in the past with situations, and we thank you for that, and we ask that you kind of help us continue that trend. So, for my pal Billy Smith and everybody here, thanks, folks. We'll talk to you soon. This is John and Bill from the Cheap Seats. We'll see you next week.